Hey everyone, this is Richie from C&K Motorsport. And while everyone seems to be doing podcasts nowadays, we thought we'd give it a go ourselves. So, the Australian Grand Prix has been run and won for another year, and what a crazy weekend it was. The weather threw a little bit of everything at us through the whole weekend, and if the heat of Friday and Saturday was too much to take, then relief came in the form of a 20-degree difference on Sunday. And with rain for most of the day, Melbourne's famous Four Seasons were definitely on display in full force. Saturday gave us a gripping qualifying session that saw Oscar Piastri take pole before being narrowly beaten by Lando Norris in his final run for the day, a lap that definitely deflated the home crowd. Racing Bulls gave us one of the shocks of the weekend, with Yuki qualifying in 5th and Isaac Hadjar just missing Q3 by qualifying in 11th for his first race. A good sign for Racing Bulls going forward. There was disappointment for both Kimi Antonelli and Liam Lawson, as both were knocked out in Q1, with Kimi in 16th and Liam in 18th. The rain would drift in and out all day on the Sunday, leaving sunburnt fans from the Saturday cold and wet for Sunday's race. In what was a baptism of fire for the rookies, the conditions would catch Hadjar on the formation lap, then Jack Doohan early on lap 1. And it wouldn't get any better during the race, with Bortoletto and Lawson finding the wall before the end of the race. Meanwhile, up front, McLaren showed why they're favourites to take out both titles by controlling the race for the most part. Team orders or the cringe papaya rules were enforced as Oscar closed in on Norris midway through the race, perhaps showing us a taste of things to come for the season. And other than a brief off-track excursion when a short but intense shower hit, the McLarens were in command the entire race. In the end, Norris narrowly beating a hard-charging Max Verstappen, with George Russell in 3rd. Hometown hero Oscar Piastri put in an early nomination for Overtake of the Year by taking Lewis Hamilton around the very fast outside of turn 10 to come home in 9th position. A fair recovery after he took what seemed like 3 business days to reverse off that wet grass, having been caught out in that previously mentioned shower. So how did the much talked about rookies go in round 1? Well, apart from Kimi Antonelli, the race was one to forget for the most, with Lawson, Hadjar, Bortoletto all finding the wall. Ollie Behrman put it behind a horror first 2 days of practice to finish the race in what must be said were atrocious conditions for his first race as a full-time driver. Kimi couldn't have asked for a better race though. Some spicy overtakes and a drive well above his years saw him come home in 4th, something I'm sure both he and Mercedes were thrilled with. So, what are our hits and misses from round 1? Well, here's the hits. McLaren, the biggest hit of the weekend. The cars are jet straight out of the box, and they showed why they're going to be favourites going forward. Strong qualifying into a strong race. Without the weather, would have definitely had a 1-2. Melbourne, despite the weather, we showed why we deserved to have opened the championship. A record 452,000 packed the Albert Park complex over the 4 days, and they were treated to some great racing on track. Kimi Antonelli slowly worked his way into the weekend, and despite being knocked out in Q1 on Saturday, he seriously impressed while more experienced drivers were going off in the wet and tricky conditions around him. He thoroughly deserved his 4th position, despite a pit lane penalty which was eventually overturned after a protest. The misses. Ferrari. Now, this one hurts. As a Tifosi, an off-season full of headlines, the Scuderia stunk it up at Albert Park. A dismal qualifying due to a reported wet car setup didn't get any better during the race, and the team from Maranello know they've got some hard work ahead of them if there'll be a chance in staying this year's championship. Melbourne's weather. Having a long, hot, dry summer, it was typical we'd get a close to a month's rain on race day. And although the rain was well overdue and my garden was definitely happy to see it, it would have been nice if that had been able to hold off just for one more day. The Aussie curse. Is it an actual thing? Well, it is for another year at least. Oscar's spin broke the hearts of thousands of home fans hoping to finally see an Aussie podium. So, we wait another year for that to happen at least. And what's our takeaway from round 1 of the championship? Well, McLaren did everything they needed to do. We're still going to be in for a thrilling season, but the pace of both the Racing Bulls and Alpine shows that the midfield battle is going to be close all season, and the teams will need to be on their game every weekend throughout the year. So there's no rest for the drivers or the teams as we go again this weekend in Shanghai for the Chinese Grand Prix. Will McLaren dominate again? Will there be a surprise from Max, Mercedes? Will Ferrari get their stuff together? Who knows? Only time will tell. If you're still watching this, we hope you've enjoyed our first foray into YouTube. And as usual, like, comment, subscribe, and let us know what you thought, good or bad. If you're not already, follow us on Instagram on C&K Motorsport, and we hope to film some more videos coming up soon. In the meantime, enjoy our content. Ciao.